All right, thank you so much for joining us on our 134th edition of Lunch Out Loud Ottawa. Of course, we're the podcast that talks to the people, places, events, and music that make this city the incredible city that it is. And of course, this week we have one of the key people in Ottawa that make this the incredible city that it is, Mr. Dylan Black, who you can see 7 days a week out at so many incredible events and supporting different causes. And before we get to Mr. Dylan Black, why don't we check this out?
Hi, this is Murray from Murray Kinsley and Wicked Grin. We're an Ottawa-based roots rock band. We were the winner of the 2014 Maple Blues Award for Best New Act. Wicked Grin is me on lead vocals and guitars, Rod Williams on harmonica, Leanne Stanton on bass, and Liam Melville on drums and percussion. Leanne has been nominated for Bassist of the Year at this year's Maple Blues Awards. We'll be releasing our new CD, Stormy Water, on November 28th at Irene's Pub, 885 Bank Street. Show starts at $9.28, $10 at the door. You can check us out at www.wickedgrin.ca or on Facebook and Twitter at Wicked Grin Blues. Put on your dancing shoes, it's going to be a party.
All right, thank you so much. So that was Wicked Grin, a very bluesy band, awesome band. They have a new album coming out. That song was Be My Side. Check them out, www.wickedgrin.ca. And I was recommended Wicked Grin from Dylan because I know Dylan hosts a radio show. He listens to all sorts of incredible music in this city. So I thought, let's have him do my job of picking out the music this week, and he picked out a great one. Can you tell us a little more about how you're introduced to Wicked Grin? Or
well, hi Nick, how are you? How are you? Thanks for having me. First of all, so I was at another station in town before I came to Boom, and Wicked Grin is bluesy and rocky and folky, and Murray Kinsley, the lead guy, came up to me, dropped off his album at the station. And we had a listen, and it was airable. I mean, right away we put it on, and these guys. So there's Murray, Leanne, Liam, and Rod, and they're Ottawa-based. And basically, these guys, not only are they amazing musically, they have gigantic hearts. Anytime I was doing a blood donor clinic or a Children's Wish Foundation event, they would show up and play for free.
Wonderful.
On top of everything, right? So I know they have a new CD coming out, and they have a CD release party at the end of the month at the Rainbow. And I can't say enough about them. They're Maple Blues award-winning artists. They've been touring Canada. They were down in, let's say, Memphis, a big part of the International Blues Challenge.
Yeah.
So they're super talented. And it's funny because they won the Best New Artist of the Year award. Murray's no spring chicken. Sorry, Murray. But it's very cool. These guys are just awesome.
And do you recommend that to young bands to go out if they're they recorded a new album? We have several new ones in Ottawa. Do you recommend them going to the station personally to drop off their new CDs, or what do you see as the best method these days?
Well, it does definitely help because you do get a lot of emails, and of course the world that we're in, right, Facebook and Twitter and all that. Yeah. It's hard to break through sometimes because you'll get a lot of messages that way, or like I said, by email. But when someone actually comes up to you and introduces themselves to you, then you can put a face to the product, right?
Yes.
And honestly, I've lived by this my whole life. Like, the squeaky wheel does get the grease. Sometimes the less talented bands can even get airplay because their wheel is so squeaky, because they're persistent.
Yes.
So, I mean, get your stuff together and drop it off and say hello.
So they can even come down to where we are. This is, I hope this sounds amazing because we're in the best room we've ever done a done an interview in a very quiet room, so this is nice. So would you recommend them come down to the Boom?
Well, they could. The problem with Boom is that we don't play anything newer than 1999.
Okay.
So we're 70s, 80s, and 90s. Now, the sister company or sister
What if they
station...
change the sounding to so it sounds, like a
No.
little... No, still can't do it. Still can't
It's
do
going
it.
to be pretty tough because...
What if they change their copyright on the CD to
to
1999?
say that, no, still
We
probably
just
wouldn't
found
work. Because we definitely play the greatest hits of all time. So what we're playing now is most likely what we're going to continue to play. We'll refresh the catalog from time to time. I do work in the music department here as well, so I'll see that instead of these songs from the 80s, maybe we'll pick a few more songs, drop some of the other songs just to rest them a bit. But my sister station down the hall, Jump 106.9, which used to be 106.9 The Bear, which I worked for many times, different variations of The Bear throughout my career. Definitely come in, drop off a CD, and say hello to the music director.
Wonderful. So there you have it to all of our wonderful musicians listening in. So what the purpose of this show is to get to know the people behind. So everybody sees Dylan Black, the radio announcer, and Dylan Black, the amazing philanthropist and volunteer around Ottawa. But we like to get to know our guests a little more. So kind of, what are some of the favorite restaurants you've been to lately? What are some of your go-tos if you do get a chance to get out?
And as you mentioned, I am out quite often, and when it comes to favorites, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't really like to go to a place 2 times in a row, because
Wonderful.
I always feel that when you do, and I have, of course, but I feel like when you do that, especially if you're with a significant other or a friend, it turns into one memory. So down the road, when you're getting older, you can't remember if you went there once or twice or 3 times or 10 times. So I like to go to different spots, and I just think variety, right?
That's a great way to think about it. Yeah.
But honestly, I'm also not I'm a dude, right? So I'm not that fussy. Like, I'll eat pretty much anywhere, and there are so many great establishments in the city. It's ridiculous. And
any memorable ones from recent that you think of?
From recent, I was at the Keg Manor a couple of weeks ago, and you can't go wrong with the Keg, right? And I was there for a special occasion with a lady friend, and honestly, the last place I went is usually the special place that I've been, because every place has its positives. I try not to dwell on the negatives, right? So, have you liked the new? There's so many new restaurants coming to Ottawa, so we hear that a lot. Mm-hmm. Has that been interesting for you, seeing this over the years? I'm not sure if I really pay that close attention to it. Really, busy. Well, it's tough, especially restauranting and bar owning. Like, you'll see a place one week and then the next week it's gone, right? So I usually don't focus in too much on it. All right, so you're out almost every single night, so you get to see so many different venues. Are there any new venues in the city that you've been really drawn to, or you think other people should check out? Well, you knew I was going to say this, of course, Live on Elgin, right? And I know you were there for my birthday extravaganza for the Max Keeping Foundation. That's now. Right. Danielle Allard, who is a very, very close friend of mine, is an Ottawa musician, and her agent runs Live on Elgin, John Evanchik, and it's a 90-capacity performance venue. And it's tough, because I've seen that he's not struggling, isn't the word, but he's it's tough to get people in the doors sometimes, right? But this performance venue, as you saw it at my birthday extravaganza, the sound is amazing. I think it's a great venue, yeah. I mentioned it the show after, yeah. I like that it's only 90 people, because it's intimate. It's not like a gigantic room where people could just wander off and talk and talk and talk. It's like when someone's on the stage, you hear them, you pay attention to them. So Live on Elgin, of course, is, I believe, 220 Elgin Street, right above Dunn's, the legendary Dunn's, right? Yeah, the old theater, right? Yeah, exactly. So, and it opened up, I guess, late spring, early summer, and a lot of great venues have gone through. And I know they have fun things. They have theater productions. They've got Juno Award-winning artists that roll in, karaoke, that kind of stuff. So that's definitely a new venue that I really enjoy. As for all the other venues, you could list them off, like from Schenkman Arts Center to the Centerpoint to the NAC. There's so many great places, and I know those are the big ones that everybody talks about, right? But Canadian Tire Center, like, we are just top notch in this city, right? So, but at the same time, we have so many that a place like Live on Elgin can struggle, because there's so much to choose from. And the local musicians in this region, I've been supporting them for years, and it's just there's so many.
Yeah.
So being close friends with Danielle, I've seen, and Wicked Grin and whoever, like you name the artist, it's like they don't like I said, struggle's a negative word, but it's tough to get people into these shows because there's so much to choose from.
Are we able to? You're more in the radio scene. Are we able to get? Has there been an increase of local bands being played on radio? Do you know? I know you're with Up to 99, so you're not able to. But I guess maybe when you're with the other stations, were we still able to do?
Well, when I was with the station that Wicked Grin would be played on, it was a little easier there. There was a little more flexibility because they were an independent station. With Boom and Jump, they're owned by Chorus Entertainment, and they have certain guidelines that they need to follow, and it's tough.
Guidelines from the government that are handed down?
Well, guidelines.
I
mean, there are CTC regulations, of course, that they have to follow, but it's tough to get on the radio if you aren't already Lady Gaga. And so how do you get to that point? Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, the giant names in music, right? Like, how do you get to that point? Well, you need independence. You need community radio stations, perhaps, to give you a shot. And as far as locals concerned, I mean, it's tough. Even the biggest CanCon names, like, Drake or back in the day, Alanis or Tragically Hip, I mean, they're top-notch quality. Yeah. It's almost like you have to be at that level before you're even considered to be on the radio. So it's tough for a local artist, for sure. Continue, and the CHUO and Drive is still going on this weekend, so support the local radio there. Now, how is you've been doing a lot of co-hosting lately with Derek on Rogers 22 daytime. How has that been going? Has that just recent great. You've been on TV? Is that something that you always wanted to do? Well, this is going back. So, I've done television work probably since 99, 2000, through CHIO telethons and University of Ottawa Heart Institute telethons, and so I'm comfortable with television. My relationship with Derek and Rogers, it's probably about 5 or 6 years now since the first time I appeared as a guest. And then within the last couple years, 3 years, Derek's asked me on every now and then to co-host with him. And recently, with the Derek filling in on breakfast television in Montreal, he's asked me to be him on Rogers Daytime, which is very cool, right? Because you get to be the anchor. You get to sort of steer the ship.
And I know he's a really hard worker.
Well, he's incredible.
Very early in the morning, and he runs everything for the show. So did you take on all those reins?
No, that's the good part. And I don't know how he does it, because this week, I believe it was sort of a last-minute thing where he was asked to go to Montreal, and he had to sort of fill all the spots, co-hosts his spot, get all the guests scheduled. And so when I see him there, when you see him on television for that hour, you think, okay, he just works an hour a day. Well, no, I guarantee you, he's probably there at 8, if not earlier in the morning, and he's probably there till 5 or 6 or 7 at night, scheduling, emailing, figuring stuff out, because he's also the producer of the show as well. And then he's one of those guys, you want to talk about somebody who's a humanitarian, and he's out in the community 7 nights a week as well. Yeah. He's out there everywhere. We have a big fundraiser coming up on the 12th called Clear the Room, and it's focusing on 2 charities, and I don't want to get the names of the charities wrong, but he has organized this, and he doesn't stop.
What's the concept of this event? Where is it located? Can people still buy tickets for this?
Yeah, you can still buy tickets. All the details are at the Boom Care section of boom997.com, so you can check them out there. It's to deal with, and they call it Clear the Room because it's to deal with sexual abuse and incontinence.
Okay.
Because Derek has come out and he's spoken about his issues with incontinence, and Cynthia Bland, the co-organizer, has spoken about her dealings with sexual abuse in her past. So they've both come out, and they're both amazing, extraordinary people for not being shy about having to live with this. And now we're trying to fundraise, and I'm hosting that, and Danielle is actually coming and playing as well. So he's just nonstop. He's the Energizer Bunny, and and I can never be up to his level of energy ever.
So it's incredible that it's very sad that we lost Max Keeping, but I feel that he's you and Derek and have really taken on him going out every single night. He was kind of the start. Well, I don't know, but the starter. I've only been here for 15 years. Yeah, but I saw him going out, and now I'm seeing.
Well, all you needed is to